Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nathan Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessing. I'm gonna give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. Serious, baby! First things first, you already know. Hopefully, everybody having a blessed and productive Monday. Hopefully, everybody was able to get through the work day. Hopefully, the kids was able to get through the school day. For those in the city, yeah, it's feeling a lot better than it was this weekend. Um, but yet and still, if you still got to be out and about, just make sure you're keeping yourself wrapped up. Just be safe on your journeys. Who else popped up in here? James number 8, what's going on, my guy? Jewel, baby. My fault, yeah, my fault. Tonight, y'all already know what it is. Um, I'm gonna have a little deep conversation. Appreciate everybody that tuned in the last live stream that I was doing. I know it's been about almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I ain't really been doing much of the content, but life been life, so you know. Marlene, baby, Just Jay, baby. I see y'all up in here. I see y'all up in here. Yeah, appreciate everybody um, that was trying to help me out recently. For some that might not have been aware, one of the reasons why I didn't do no streaming was because apparently I had got a strike. Apparently I had got a community strike for a song that everybody is using in these short videos. So they uplifted it. So, but also life has been life, and so I figured let me take some time away. I know y'all been catching all these short videos. I know. I was trying to do something this weekend, but apparently I was having an issue with my speaker, so I had to fix that. But nonetheless, y'all already know every time I do come in and bring something, we're gonna have a real deep conversation. Yeah, it's all good though. It's all good. Hey, they uplifted it because, like I said, everybody is using that song that I use. So if you go on strike me or clap me, you might as well clap everybody that's using that. James, what's going on, my guy? I see them coffee cups in the chat. But y'all know, sometimes that's the best thing too, is trying to basically get some relaxation and unplug from anything that's going on. Like I said, it just been a crazy 2 weeks, but nonetheless, we back with it. Um, Today I wanted to talk about something. Again, I feel this is a common problem, and again, for some of you young women out there, and some of you young men, because some of y'all not open hood neither. Um, this domestic violence thing is becoming a problem. Appreciate you, Marlene, baby. But that is a problem, and I spoke about this on a couple of occasions. Um, some of y'all ladies out there, I'm speaking to y'all first because some of y'all be the initiators of things. Some of y'all are initiating the wrong type of situation and scenario because you're looking for a reaction or you're looking for the outcome of this person getting themselves in trouble or possibly worse. Now, I don't condone in any type of violence, period, as far as you being with somebody. Angela, baby. I understand, mommy. Look, I'm gonna say this too. This is might be a trigger warning for some. Let me get that out there. I don't like to have these convos because I kind of get triggered. Because like I told y'all the story with my mom's friend and another friend behind that. Um, I don't condone in any type of violence from either side because I'm gonna be real with you. It's not always women that are getting abused. There are men that are getting abused as well too. But the difference is these men don't say nothing or don't stand up because they feel like it makes them weak or makes them less than. But I'm all for non-violence, especially when again it comes down to a relationship. Liz, baby. Who else popped in? Who else popped in? But this is the thing. You know, there's some of you ladies out there, and like I said, I had a live stream about this a while back, and it's still happening. There's some of you young women out there, and I mean, I'm gonna say early 20s. Some of them might be younger than that. Some of y'all have to stop trying to antagonize and provoke a situation because again, you have no wins when it comes to that scenario. Some of y'all again fail to realize that regardless to what, you are not equal to a man as far as strength, rage, anything. And all it takes is for you to provoke the wrong person, and that wrong person might give you what you're looking for. See, this is the thing I've noticed with some. You'll sit here and antagonize, and attack, provoke, and do everything else. But when it starts getting heavy and it starts getting too thick for you, all of a sudden now you're the victim. All of a sudden you're back to being a woman. I can remember a situation where I told y'all, this I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think that girl was an AG. And some of y'all might know what that is. If you don't, look it up. But you getting out of pocket with a grown man that's old enough to be your father or your uncle, getting on his face, you spit in his face, you slapped him, you did something else. The minute he returned that energy back, all of a sudden is, oh, I'm a female. You hit me, I'm a female. You wasn't a female 5 minutes ago when you was doing all the rude and obscene things for that man to, to get provoked. And again, it's about a level of respect. You can't start a fire and then play victim. That is true. You can't. And I've seen this happen countless times. There's some of y'all that will literally attack a man. And in some instances, we not gonna really fight you or try to attack you back. At least most men with common sense. But you're gonna have men out there that don't give a damn who the hell you are. If you put your hands on them, if you do certain things to provoke and attack them, guess what? You're gonna get that energy back. It's supposed to be about respect. And it's supposed to be about love. And honestly, and this is on both ends again, if you love somebody like you say you do, domestic violence should not be that. That's not a way of proving that you love somebody. I don't think that's any way to show any form of love to somebody that you care for. And again, some of y'all will sit here and provoke all the wrong action. But then when it gets too deep or it gets too heavy for you, now all of a sudden you crying and playing victim. Can't keep doing that, ladies. And for some of you fellas out there, I know there's situations where you feel like you ready to snap, you ready to do something, but you gotta be more logical. First things first, I always say this. The minute any type of violence occurs, it don't matter if it only happened once. That's a sign for you to pay attention and walk away if you have to. Because again, love ain't about abuse and pain. But there are some of you who are, I'm sorry, you're very manipulative and you're very conniving when it comes to that. Yes, I don't believe that any woman should be physically abused at all or verbally abused. But I also feel the same way. No man should have to take no verbal abuse, nor no physical abuse. I watched the body cam footage the other day and it kind of ticked me off. And this is part of the reason why I'm speaking on the things I'm speaking on. How do you go to an ex's house unannounced? You ask that ex if they're dealing with somebody. They tell you the truth. You get upset, and now you want to physically attack him, destroy his apartment, and then try to call the cops on him. See, this is the thing I was talking about. Some of y'all will even do that, and that's dangerous in itself. You don't sit here, initiate an attack, and then now you want to call the cops, thinking that you was going to get them in trouble. That's starting to backfire on some of you ladies out here that are doing that shit. And I'm happy about it. Because again, certain things need to be explored more and investigated more before they just automatically make the assumption and go with whatever was said. Dee baby! You already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. But yeah, I find that very satisfying right now because some of y'all are starting to feel what us men feel. No man wants to be accused of domestic abuse, sexual abuse, or anything along those lines. And those are the type of things right there that could damage any man, period. It's not just damage their reputation. No, it's the truth, Marlene. And that's the thing. My bad, y'all. But see, again, this is the thing I was talking about. Some of these women are starting to learn the hard way about lying and getting men in trouble. This is why I was glad to watch that video footage because again, how do you say that somebody was beating on you and abused you, but he's the one with the bruises and the marks to show that he was the one attacked? You come to this man's house, again, unannounced, you come to his house, and then in that same token, you decide to attack him because he told you the truth. See, this is something that I feel is a problem too. Lucy, what's going on? See, you'll sit here and say you want the truth from somebody, but then you can't handle the truth. You'll fuck around, and now you get angry, or you feel like you're rejected. And instead of you just taking it on the chin like an adult, no, you start acting like an emotional child. Again, you don't sit here and initiate violence and then try to get somebody in trouble. And it backfired on it. It backfired, and I'm glad it did. And it needs to start happening more. And I'm saying this because, again, we always look at domestic violence and we only look at it from the aspect of, oh, the men are being abusive. No, what about the women that are being abusive and causing problems? See, now, like I said, in most states now, That domestic violence thing is not getting played on either end. So you can initiate something if you want to, but if you the one that clearly doesn't have no form of marks or any form of a struggle or abuse, they will be taking your ass in. And it's sad because you come there. Granted, y'all got a child together, but if y'all not together, y'all co-parenting, that's not a good look on your end as a mother because again, you are initiating and causing violence towards the person you brought the child in the world with. How does that work? Now you try to call the cops, they show up, they take whatever because you try to destroy this man's apartment too as well, and try to take a game system that didn't belong to. Make that make sense. You came over there to cause all those problems, only to mess around and get arrested. Why? Because again, you try to lie and say that he been abusing you, he attacked you, you got bruises on your hands, you got marks on your hands, and then the cop told us those look like old cuts or old wounds that are healing up. That's not today. You're gonna sit here and say that those marks was today, that happened today. But clearly as day, you see this man got scratch and claw marks on the side of his where his ribs is at. Looked like he had a little claw mark on his neck. Like you wild out. And then try to get the man in trouble only to get your ass in trouble. And then even your mother's on the cell phone call. Why did you go over there? Lady, some of y'all have to listen to what's being said. Follow good advice. See, now if she wasn't that went over there with those I think I know what the intentions were. Your intentions was to go see if you could rekindle something with her. But the minute he told you that he had somebody new or that he, whatever, you got mad. This is the problem. And I said this one time before. If you're gonna move away from somebody and they decide to move on, you should move on. That's just like if you tell somebody you don't want to be with them. Cool. Once that person leaves out the door, it's rare that person to come back. And if they do come back, it's probably for specific reason. Not bad specifics, but good specifics. All right, we done got cooler heads to prevail. Let's figure out what we need to figure out. But to be quite honest, some people, despite whatever, should not be together because there's toxicity levels there. Fellas, if you are dealing with a woman who is highly aggressive, or you're dealing with a woman who is showing clear signs of instability, move far away from that situation as possible. And I would say the same thing for you ladies. Dealing with a dude that's highly aggressive or has had a history of some form of abuse, move away from that. See, when y'all don't follow the red flags or the signs, 9 out of 10, you'll find out later than sooner that you should have definitely got away. Do I feel bad that the girl got arrested? No, I don't feel bad. Because again, had it not been actual footage and evidence that he wasn't the aggressor or the attacker, they would have probably tucked that man in. See, this is what I was talking about on both ends. Because in some situations, when it comes to domestic violence, that's because you got a person that's just refusing to leave you alone. This is why it's very important and very critical for you people nowadays to, again, look out for the warning signs, look out for the red flag. And even if you don't spot them right away, once you do start spotting them, please get away. because you have people who didn't have that chance to get away and paid the ultimate price. I wouldn't want no other man or woman to pay that ultimate price. You can replace things, but you can't replace your life. And again, for some of you women out there, it is time for y'all to wisen up. Stop trying to be aggressive. Stop trying to rear up. Stop trying to fight. You trying to fight a clear fight that you know you're not going to win. Because it's like I said one time before, if a man decides to black out, or if a man just decides to go all out, especially if they defended themselves, there is going to be no stop unless somebody stops them. Again, you're not equal when it comes down to this. And I wish y'all would stop. Because then now all of a sudden, if that energy get returned back to you, now you're playing the victim. Now it's, oh, you should know better. No, you should know better. Because guess what? You should have known it wasn't wise to try to attack this man or try to fight this man, knowing that if this man decides to let loose, they could possibly hurt or worse, unalive you. And I'm not giving no passes for those who are out there being abusive towards their ladies. I'm not giving no passes towards them either. To be quite honest, like I said, there should be respect on both levels. It shouldn't be you fighting me or me fighting you. Prince, what's going on, my guy? My bad. Who else popped up in here? Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Working harder than my damn security cameras, baby. Oh yeah, I know. I know. Hold on. Let me scroll back up. Let me scroll back up. I think I hold on. Almost lost it. Almost lost it. What? Where the hell is it? Hold on. There we go. My fault. There we go. Cause yeah, this is a trigger warning for some. You know, and again, this is something that. Oh shoot, my bad. I did it again. My bad. I did it again. Dang. You know, but this is the problem. Some of y'all make this mistake and think that you could be violent towards somebody and it doesn't have consequences or repercussions. Now, again, like even when I'm out and about in the streets, like I see it even now with the younger generation. I mean, even younger than 21. These young girls is out here trying to fight, scratch, claw, and provoke these young men. And in the same token, you're putting yourselves in danger. Because again, you might have somebody who might not be in control of their emotions. They might not be in control, or they might not be stable at all. And if you give them that energy, guess what? If they give it back to you, what are you going to say then? And another thing I noticed that some of y'all do, you will only tell half of the story and won't tell the full story. Like with this camera footage that I watched, you spoke no truth at all. You come to this man's house, you attacked him because he told you the truth, and then you try to get him in trouble, and then it backfired. And that's another thing. Some of y'all want to try to destroy people's property or destroy things that you didn't purchase. You don't think that comes with something? I'm gonna say this: that cop had more restraint and definitely more patience than most men would have had. Because even then, you being unruly, it's like you trying to pressure them to arrest him, and then you messed around and got arrested. And then you look baffled. And that's another thing. Some of you ladies will be aggressive until the cops are involved. And then all of a sudden, you're crying. You're the victim. It's, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, what are you doing? Stop being foolish. Because now, if the cops do get involved, which you know 9 out of 10 they are, you can't sit here and all of a sudden be the victim when you was being victimized at the end of the day. You can't do that. You can't sit here and attack somebody and then all of a sudden it's, oh, I'm a female, I'm a woman. No, you wasn't acting like a woman 5, 10 minutes ago. Lara, what's going on? I see you in here. See you in here. Wait, oops, my fault. Serious, hold on. Dang it, I pinned up the wrong message. My bad. I think my phone updated something else too. My bad, my bad. There you go. But yeah, this is a problem that I see. And it's the worst type of problem right there. For some of you fellas out there, your best bet, like I said before, is the minute you see that the woman you with is aggressive, abusive on either angle, walk away. Denise, baby, I might have to take this down off the stage in a minute, series, only because I can't see who came in here. This sucker is so big on my end, I can't see who popped in the chat. But yeah, it's not a laughing matter. Domestic violence is not being tolerated on either end. So if you decide you want to be abusive and aggressive, just know that it does come with something. And for some of you fellas out there that like to hit women, again, y'all should know what consequences come with that. But I'm also speaking to you ladies too. Again, stop trying to initiate the fights. Just stop. Because again, we supposed to be loving on each other and not fighting each other or destroying each other. Domestic violence can take a turn for the worse in certain situations. So again, it's time to be more wise in your choices that you're making and start being more wiser with the person you decided to build with. And if that didn't work with the person that you was building with, y'all gotta both learn to move on. Like in this situation right here, he was honest with her. It's not like he lied and she found out. No, you asked him, was he dealing with somebody? He told you, yeah, he moved on. So my thing is, if you can't accept that, you can't accept no type of rejection in life. And that's a bad look. That'd be like if you didn't get the job you was looking for. You gonna get upset, you gonna catch a temper tantrum because you didn't get it, or you gonna either try to apply for another position or wait until a position does open at that spot. This is what I'm saying. It comes down to critical thinking. And some of y'all not being critical when it comes to your thinking. Oh no, I know that, Denise. I said that prior to. Again, domestic violence can occur on multiple angles and scenarios. Because again, you're gonna have some people who are very unstable, and the only way they know how to deal with certain problems and issues is violence, which I don't condone. You know, I don't condone it because again, that's not the move. Nobody should have to worry about, you know, being locked up or not coming home to their family just because. And I said this time and time and again, and I'm gonna say it again. Fellas, you have to start being more wise in what you do and who you do things with. And it's the same thing with you ladies. Like prime example, there's some of you who will continue to keep making the same mistake. It shouldn't take multiple mistakes for you to learn that it's not the good look. Love is not having a black eye, broken ribs, broken nose, or anything for that matter. And again, that is the worst thing. And that's the thing. Again, once you start seeing certain red flags and signs on certain things, it's time for you to make a decision on your safety more than anything. Now, see, in this case right here, you tried to call the cops on this man, trying to lie and say that he was abusing you and he attacked you, when you was the one that clearly did all the attacking and the initiating. And it backfired. Because again, if this person clearly has marks on them and it shows that they was just recently attacked and you don't have no form of marks on you showing that there was a physical situation, well, who you think they gonna believe? And again, in some cases, you'll be sitting in that county jail for longer than expected just because you decide you want to be aggressive. You want to be real disrespectful, in my words. East Dad, what's going on, my guy? That's not a good look. But I see this even like I said when I'm out and about in the street. It's one thing when you playing around, but when you really are initiating violence, it could go bad for you. For some of y'all, you might think, okay, I could do this, and there ain't gonna be no consequences and repercussions. I can continue to do what I do, but you'll find out sooner than later that it will be consequences to it. It will. Like I said, I see some of these young ladies and young teens right now acting like savages when it comes to this type of scenario. Like I said, on both ends, there should be respect. There should be no fighting at all. Because, in my opinion, that's the worst form of abuse because that's toxic. Nobody should have to worry about a black eye, almost losing the eye socket, hospital bills, so on and so forth. Again, for some of you ladies out there who think it's cool, just know if you keep acting aggressive the way you are, and if you keep doing the things you're doing, you're gonna suffer a grave consequence that you might not be able to come back from. And again, some of y'all need to learn how to accept rejection. Accept it. If things didn't work out with you and somebody, maybe it's best that it didn't. See, some people are so hell bent on being with somebody that they're willing to tolerate things that they shouldn't tolerate. But my thing, all in all, is this: if you turn around and tell me that things ain't working, and I decide to move forward after you done said something, but then you turn around and get mad because I told you the truth. No, that's a problem. And you're not going to get away with that. Because you can't sit here and say that you're good. You can't sit here and tell me that you you comfortable and you happy with whatever. But then in the same token, you renege and go back on what you just said. Now, see, guess what? If that man would have lied, guess what? It probably would have been the same thing. That man told you the truth and you couldn't handle it. And that is a clear problem. When somebody gives you truth, you got to learn to accept it. You know, like if you tell somebody that things ain't working, you would rather be friends with them or you would rather, you know, go your separate ways. Not hard to do so. It shouldn't be at all. But again, when you initiate that type of drama and that type of confrontation, expect two things. Well, I would say expect three things. Expect to get hurt, expect to get arrested, or expect the unexpected. Because again, in some scenarios, abuse has led to people's untimely demise. And again, you gotta get to a better mindset. There's nothing good that's gonna ever come out of any form of domestic violence. Period. And again, this could be a trigger warning for a lot of you, but talks like this I'm willing to have. Talks like this are needed because again, you know, you're trying to spread the awareness to the masses. Some of you ladies out there who think it's cool to be putting your hands up, fighting, and even doing certain things to men, guess what? You also take away that trust factor as far as that man is concerned. Why? Because if you're willing to do this, what else are you willing to do? And some people have done that. They have done the unthinkable because they allow their feelings to be the main factor of their decision. Just 1 second, y'all. 1 second. So again, it's about time that the mindset changes. Because again, domestic violence, it ain't the wave. It ain't what you think it is. And in the long run, only thing it does is cause heartache, pain, and stress. Who wants to live like that? See, like I've watched some women approach dudes and same thing. Rude, disrespectful. You wanna be physical with somebody. But again, some of you will learn the hard way that is gonna come with a price. If you wanna match aggression with somebody, don't be mad when they give you the same or if not, even more than you could bear. And again, this is a trigger warning for some who are listening. Because there are people who have been through that form of abuse. And it definitely traumatized them. Some of them had to get counseling. Some of them had to seek guidance and seek something from true support system like friends and family. Because again, nobody should ever have to worry about abuse. I feel like this in some cases, and I'm gonna speak to the fellas first. We gotta start, and I mean this. We gotta start standing our ground when it comes down to certain things, and we also gotta know when to walk away. And I feel that's the best option a lot of times, just walking away before it gets worse. You know. Now again, had that camera footage not shown what it showed, they 9 out of 10 would have tried to take that man in and assume that he's the aggressor. This is why I said when it comes down to the law, there are certain things that need to be re-looked at, revised, and put into motion because it's unfair. It's bad enough the justice system is unfair, especially towards the young black youth. But to have it so uneven to where you think that there ain't no men victims out there, that's crazy. So if I'm the one getting abused and not doing anything, not even defending myself, I can still get in trouble because of the initiation of a fight. Make that make sense? My bad, y'all. Got here some crunching, but yeah, we still got snow hills out this bitch. But yeah, it's unfair, and these are things that need to change because it's unfair to sit here and automatically just go with one side of a story when there's multiple sides to a story. You know, there's his version, her version, and then the actual truth. And a lot of times when the actual truth shows that it wasn't what was initially said, now you have to do your investigation. Now you actually have to do your job. And again, I would advise you young fellas out there to be careful and mindful in who you give your time and energy to. It's important. Because again, the same way no woman should go through any abuse, no man should go through it neither. Men start stepping up, and you do what's necessary for your safety and for the people around you. Now, again, I don't feel bad if she got arrested because you try to lie and say that man attacked you when you did all the attacking. You look in that man's apartment, you could tell you destroyed some of his stuff. And that's another thing again. How is it that you could come and destroy somebody's property? How is it right for you to destroy somebody's property that you didn't purchase at all? I've seen some women get crazy because same thing. A man probably done moved on or found something else. Y'all can't take the rejection or you can't face the facts that, you done lost that person. So what do y'all do? Y'all wanna slash their tires, break their car windows. You wanna tag up graffiti and do everything that shouldn't be done. And again, that's not a good look. Why? Because in the long run, you're gonna still have to pay for that. Because now it'll get to a situation where if that man decides, well, I'm going to take you to civil court and get my money back for the damages you caused to the things that I have, what you gonna do then if you ain't got the money to pay it? See, some of y'all will be quick to be more reactive than to be logical. Unfair, you know. And I think that's a problem again. Y'all don't think before you do things. Again, you allow raw emotion to dictate your every move. But if you're gonna go straight off of emotion, you're gonna find out in more ways than one that that's a battle you will continuously lose. You're gonna lose that battle all the time because guess what? At some point, you they gonna get tired of you. They gonna get tired of situations where your name is being brought up and it's the same type of crimes or the same type of situation. Ladies, just because you mad, that does not give you the right to attack somebody, and that doesn't give you the right to destroy their property, no matter what the situation is. Fellas, you might be upset because whatever situation with that woman, that doesn't mean you have to necessarily resort to violence neither. Again, it's about respecting each other more than anything. I could be angry at you, but I got enough respect to not do something that could possibly harm you or worse. And that's what it needs to come back to. And again, before it gets to a certain case and scenario that neither one of y'all can come back from, think before you do things. And again, for some of y'all ladies out here that think it's a game, you're gonna find yourself in handcuffs, sitting in a county jail, waiting to see a judge about your scenario. Fellas, the same thing. If you think initiating some sort of violence is gonna help you out, it's gonna make things worse for you. Like I said, it's already bad enough that this system ain't built for men. The system is not designed to be fair to the men at all. The system is built to destroy and divide. And that's what it's doing. Like prime example again, there are some things that need to be changed. And that one thing that needs to be changed is how you deal with certain cases, especially domestic violence cases. My bad, Denise. I ain't mean to shoot. um, and again, my bad, y'all, because I know, like I said, when it comes down to these type of discussion, trigger warnings. I know, but again, we have to have these talks in order for the message to be spread clearly and for people to get what they're supposed to get. appreciate you, serious. Appreciate you for dropping that number because I was going to say that too. Um, if anybody is a victim of domestic violence, there is a hotline you can call, and if if that doesn't work, or if that's something that you not going to be able to do, then again, get the help that you need. Like I said, it's time to change the parameters of things. And again, no physical violence should ever be accepted on either end. Fellas, you have a right to walk away. Ladies, you have a right to walk away. But the one thing I am going to say, some of these DV scenarios happen like how I said before. You upset that a person has either moved on or is not trying to be back with you. And instead of you just accepting it, you quick to get reactive. Nah, it's not cool. Just know that it's going to come with consequences. For some of y'all, this should be a good example of why you shouldn't, why neither. Because some of you are sitting here and causing damages to yourself, and in the same token, you still trying to lie and say that this person attacked you or this person abused you. Let's use the brick lady prime example as a prime example. I spoke about this a while back. You see her scenario, you lied and said that somebody hit you in the face with a brick. Then you try to say that the men were sitting around and allowed the attack to happen. Only to find out that you lied about the shit. Now everybody was in an uproar about the take on her side, and everybody was quick to say, "Oh, that's messed up. You don't do nothing like that." Yada yada yada. And then come to find out she was lying. And that's a prime example for some of you ladies. You do not want to be like her because look what that cost her. She can't go or do anything on this internet for the next 10 years. You're officially banned for the next 10 years. So even if you think to make an account anywhere else on a social media platform, once they get wind of it, you violating your terms of whatever, and you gonna be sitting there longer than what you are. See, and again, she kind of got a slap on the wrist because if that had been a man, prime example, that lied about a scenario like that, you gotta try to throw that man under the jail. You gotta try to hit him with every count that you can hit him with. And look what happened. You see how that turned out for her? Lying about abuse, and now you sitting up doing some time. Plus, you can't do no type of social media for the next 10 years. You set yourself up for that because you lied to the world, and then you lied again to the point of gaining money from people that actually felt sorry for you, only to find out again you scammed and you was lying. And see, these are the type of women, fellas, you have to be careful for. Because if they was quick to lie for that scenario, what else would they do or what else would they lie about? Again, I'm saying this on both ends. Because look, we did have another scenario with somebody lying about police abuse, and look what happened to him. Fucked up his whole career. Y'all know who I'm talking about. See, again, you're gonna get rare scenarios where a man lied about something, but in other cases, you're gonna get more women lying about the scenarios that they're talking about. It's rare you're gonna get a man that lied about being abused, especially by cops. But again, you see what that happened. So, fellas, if you thinking of trying to lie about something to try to gain some form of notoriety and sympathy, it'll backfire on you. Straight up, it will. And some of y'all know who I'm talking about. Gonna lie and say you got abused by a cop, and then come to find out nothing happened to your ass. You lied, and you could have got sent to jail, sent up the river too for lying like that. Nothing good comes out of those type of lies. Nothing ever good comes out of any form of domestic abuse and violence. And it's time for that to change and stop. See, again, some of you ladies need to be careful in the men that you choosing to deal with or build with. And it's the same way with you men. Be careful on who you build with and who you choosing to try to build with. First things first is making sure that person is mentally stable. Again, start checking certain backgrounds. Start looking for signs of when to walk away. Like I said, the first form of any type of abuse, walk away. I'm an advocate for that. Walk away and walk away with your safety and your life preserved. Because prime example for some of you fellas out there that's not listening. If you don't pay attention to those red flags 9 out of 10 could cost you your life. But again, be careful in who you have interactions with on that type of tip. And again, we gotta change the mindset. I don't care how angry I've been with any woman that I've ever dealt with. I've never had to come to a point of putting my hands on them. Why? Because I know when to walk away. Always did. And I didn't have to do nothing anyway. Because I got people who I consider like sisters that if I did have to do something, oh, I ain't gotta do nothing. Let me just go make this phone call real quick. You wanna fight? Cool. I'm not gonna be the one to fight you though. But I know somebody who will. And again, that is a very problem that we have now. We don't know when to walk away or when to just read the room well. Now, again, who knows what the situation could be when it comes to that girl. But again, you physically attack somebody, you try to destroy their property in their damn house, and then you try to lie and get them arrested. But see, it's going to be those type of scenarios that now, again, the cops will start doing more thorough investigation. And once they see that you're not the one that looked like you was the victim, guess what? You're going to jail. See, I don't know where all this aggression and anger comes from, and I'm saying it on both ends. But it's unhealthy because again, you can't think the I want to be with somebody, but then you can't even control your own emotions. You're quick to be aggressive, you're quick to fight, you're quick to take your anger out on anybody else instead of finding different ways to deal with your anger and your trauma. No man wants to deal with that type of drama to begin with. That's why I said some men will definitely walk away, especially when they can read or feel the vibe. But again, some of y'all have to be careful in your interactions with who you decide to interact with, who you decide to try to build something with, even who you have kids with. Because prime example, with that scenario I was talking about, what would have happened if that child was in the house when you decide to attack him? You're showing your child, or you're giving your child that initial thought that this is normal and this is how it should be. The saddest part about domestic violence is when the domestic violence is happening in front of kids. And that's where I get triggered. Because again, no kid should ever have to see their mother or their father being physically or verbally abused. Unfair. And again, it's strengthening up that cycle of violence. You're supposed to show your young ones what love, respect, and loyalty looks like. And if you showing them that it's okay to be physically abusive towards your significant other, you are setting the wrong type of precedent and wrong example. So I think that's something y'all should think about. And I'm gonna say this again on both ends. Your children should never be present when these type of scenarios are happening.
Still wanted to add if you can. Bible and your livelihood, but being a leader. I hear you. Are those who are back up here, y'all already know. I got to hear me now. Can you hear me now? Hold on. Can you hear me? Hold on. Hey, you hear me? Y'all give me a one in the chat if I'm good. Hold on. Give me a second. Always something. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me hear me now. Give me a one in the chat. Um, I definitely want to have this conversation. You know. Okay, okay. I had to double check something because my ear. Yeah, we definitely need to tolerate. How they start getting away from it. It's only hear me now. Can you hear me now? I don't know what the hell going on, but I was just here. You know, absolutely no need. Yes, I do. Hold on. Yes, I do. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I was good not too long ago. But yeah, hey, no out safety. I forget that. Um, for some out there, fellas out there, know you are doing something good. Know that. Give me a one in the chat if y'all can hear. What's going on, my guy? Yeah, like I said, I was having sound issues going in and out. Sorry, going in and out, but I'm still out some few things, you know. But yeah, not a good, gotta be in the decision, you know. It's only right that. Oh, hold on. My apologies. My apologies if I'm going in and out. I don't know. It's good. Give me 1 second, yeah. Hold on. Check. Mic check. Mic check. Y'all give me a one if y'all can hear me. All right. I think I know what I did. I did something wrong in the settings. My bad, yeah. My bad. Yeah, I was in the matrix for a minute, but I'm back. I'm back. But yeah, again, this is something that, like I said, we should never overlook at all. And again, fellas, know when to walk away. Ladies, know when to walk away. Again, your safety is more important than anything. I don't condone any type of violence of any sort, especially when it's coming towards your partner or your spouse. But there are some people out there who will, again, take all the extreme steps. Those steps right there that you think you're taking will eventually backfire on you. If you think trying to be physically abusive to somebody is going to keep them there or is going to make them want to stay, it's only going to push them away worse. You know. So again, you better start being more careful in the decisions that you make. Be more careful with the people you decide to have interactions with. And when you see that they're unbalanced or unstable to some degree, right there and then is when you should walk away. Another thing I was going to talk about tonight, and I might have a full deep conversation about that. Um, Again, um, there are things that need to change and change for the better, especially when it comes to our quote unquote system and even the family court system. I feel there are some things that need to be changed, and in some cases, they are starting to revise and change up certain things for the better, which is good. Like when we was talking about a while back about some of these states. Well, I think it's only two or three right now that approved it, but at some point, I feel every state will approve it. Mandatory DNA testing. This is one reason why I said things in the family court system should change because there are unwritten bylaws that apparently still affect men and affect people to this day. Unfair. Prime example: if you got a man or woman that's going through either a divorce, prime example: if you wasn't married long, you shouldn't be entitled to certain things. When I say certain things in the family court system needs to change, it should be equal all around the board. Because if the family courts is supposed to be helping the parents that are in need, right? How is it always an unfair advantage? Prime example: if you're going through something with somebody, there's kids involved, but you're clearly the stable one. You have the house, you have financials going on, and everything else. How does the woman still end up getting custody of the kid? That's unfair to that parent right there that really is stable and functional. Like prime example, if this woman don't got a place to stay, if she don't have any type of income, if she's irresponsible, if she's not doing what's supposed to be done for her kid, how do you still end up giving her full custody when it's obvious that the parent with the better situation should have those kids? But see, this the thing though, these dad. You knew when it comes down to some things, they was going to legalize those things before they actually change and try to legalize the laws that need to be taken care of. Because again, that's unfair. How is it if, and there are scenarios like that where you have good men, good jobs, roof over their head, are responsible, but again, will give the kids to the mothers, knowing the mothers are not responsible at all. How does that work? Now, unless it's really a dire situation, that's the only time they're gonna think about giving the kids to the father. But I don't think it's fair because again, if it's obvious who's the responsible one and who's not, why should those kids have to suffer? See, like I said, when it comes down to mandatory DNA testing, that sucker gonna be legal all around the board soon.
Because again, there are some states that they don't give a damn. The minute you sign that birth certificate, even if it comes to find out it's not your child, you are still responsible for that child because you signed the birth certificate. Fellas, if you feel there could be a situation where you're having serious doubts, go get a test done. As soon as that baby is done. If you're not in the state where it is mandatory, guess what? Make it mandatory. Go get a DNA test to make sure everything is everything. So this way you know for sure if these are your children or not. Because the one thing I said is the worst thing that anybody could do is lie about somebody's paternity or lie about somebody being a father of a child. And there are some of you women out there who think that is cool. You sleeping with multiple men, you getting pregnant, and then you trying to throw the responsibility onto somebody else. Unfair. This is why I said it is important. You know, I hear you, he's dad for real. Like, you know, that's all I'm saying. And see, in prime example, I've always felt that was a problem or that was doubt because, prime example, if that man decides he wants to still test that baby, even if y'all are together, because I'm going to say this too, even if you are together, a man still wants to make sure those are his children, and he has the right to. But if you're gonna sit here and argue with him, or if you're gonna sit here and make a whole big fuss about something, then clearly there's something that you're not saying or you're not telling them. Ladies, y'all have to stop lying. And not all you ladies, but there are some of you ladies out there who be quick to lie. If you know you having multiple partners, just be real. But don't sit here and lie and say that this is your child, this is your child. I never did nothing. I never did this. And then the truth comes out, and now you looking stuck, and you still trying to go with the lie. Like I said, a man has a right to know if his child is his or not, because it's unfair to those who have been father figures to children that wasn't there. It's unfair. I watched a situation where this guy found out three kids that were supposedly supposed to be by him and his wife. Mm-mm, none of them kids was his. None of them. And that's unfair because that man has been a father figure and a fixture in these kids' life. And the whole time you're sitting here lying because you didn't want to destroy it or you didn't want to mess up something. But see, this is the thing for some of y'all. Temptation is a bitch. And in some cases, your temptation and your need to want to do things will be your downfall. Ladies, if you are out there and you got more than one partner, you need to be real with yourself and then be real with the partner. Period. But I would say this too. This is where I say, as far as that aspect is concerned, if you are not going to be faithful to somebody that you're with, you might as well call it off and go do what you're going to do. Serious, that is true. I'm not saying that men don't play a position in that scenario, but guess what? Initially, it's up to the lady to decide if she's going to allow this person inside her or not. And if she's not going to allow a person inside her, then that's the smart choice, especially if you're not building with somebody. Yes, there are irresponsible men out there, but those same irresponsible men are the main ones that are populating the earth, apparently. Those are the same main ones that y'all allowing and giving your body to. If you don't open your legs, if you don't initiate anything, nothing happens. See, like you hate to hear, oh, oh, this person was a deadbeat. This person ain't shit. This person ain't that. But you allow that person to come inside you. Again, gotta be more wise in your choices. Fellas, the same way. Start wrapping that shit up, man. But again, the ones who are not wrapping it up are the irresponsible ones. But again, it's an irresponsible choice on your behalf to lay with somebody that you know is not responsible. Same way with the fellas. You'll cry about, oh, my baby moms ain't shit. My baby mom's a hoe. This is that and third. But you laid up with it. You decided not to use protection. So what you thought was going to happen? Or what did you think was going to happen? You know? Again, it's time to be responsible. And I'm saying this again on both ends. Be responsible. But also be real with each other. See, if you learn to be real, if you learn to stop lusting and start having more trust, these type of scenarios can be avoided. Again, this is on both ends because this is something that needs to be said. If you're not going to be faithful and committed to that one person, then don't string that person along. Just be real with them. And I think this is a common problem. We ain't communicating the way we should. I say this before you decide to do anything or go far with anybody, let somebody know what it is you're truly looking for and what you expect. That's why a conversation needs to be initiated before any physical interactions occur. Now, that's the truth. You're supposed to have these talks. But again, in the long run, if you are open and honest from the beginning and let it be known what it is that you're seeking and what you're not seeking, you can avoid some of these scenarios from happening. Again, there was a time frame where people actually had these initiated conversations to see where they wanted to go with this person, or even if this was a person that they could build with. Y'all not having these initial conversations, and this is what's causing some of the scenarios to happen now. Prime example, I said this a while back, and I'm gonna say it again. If you know you're looking for a friend with benefits, let it be known from Jump Street what you're looking for. If you're looking for a serious relationship, let it be known. Let a person know what it is that you seek and what you're looking for. This way, it gives that person the option to decide if they're gonna get down with the program or not. Because what I might be looking for, you might not be looking for. But if we don't have the initial conversation, we'll never know what's what. You know. But when I said that the court systems need to be changed on certain scenarios, I meant it because there's so many different scenarios happening to where it's an unequal balance. See, some of y'all will cry about equality and cry about this, but how is it equal that you're taking away more from the person you're moving away from? Come on, baby. Be safe on that road, baby. Like I said, it's unfair. And there are some things that need to change. Like I said, I'm gonna go into a deep conversation about that. I wasn't going to talk too tough on it tonight. Um, I possibly could do this tomorrow. Um, but this is some of the stuff I want to get off and still, reiterate on.
There are things that need to change. And for some people that are not hip to it, let me tell you this in advance. There's nothing wrong with change. I think change is good for all equal parts of growth, not just spiritually, but mentally. Some of these laws that are about to be changed or that are about to be put in place, I feel, despite how others may feel, it's a good look. Like I said, mandatory DNA testing, definitely a good look. Because it's unfair that you have 40% of men right now, as we speak, who are taking care of kids that ain't there. Or they're being lied to. That's unfair. Just like paternity fraud. Yes, it's still fraud at the end of the day. Because you lied to a person about paternity of a kid. And again, at some point, gotta stop lying. You're only doing a disservice when you lying to somebody. Jewel, baby, you're only doing a disservice. So again, think before you do things. Be wise and be careful in who you choose. And if you are going to build with somebody, make sure that that person has your best interest at heart. Make sure that that person is loyal and trustworthy. But also make sure that that person is not going to up, jump, and leave the minute times get hard or the minute times get real bad. Because if you could up and jump ship on somebody and things haven't even gotten bad or worse, what happens when it does get bad or worse? Like I said, there are some things that I feel need to be changed, and some of these things are changing for the better. Because again, it's unfair to the men out there, especially the good men out there. It seems like in my vision and in my book of what I've seen, some of the good men end up choosing the most horrible women to have kids with, and vice versa. Some of the good women choose the wrong type of niggas to have kids with. That mindset needs to change overall. Know your value and know your worth. And that's true on all angles. Know your value and know your worth. Know what you're going to be willing to accept and not be willing to accept. But the one thing I will say on all cylinders is that no form of physical violence should ever be accepted on either. And the minute that you have been a victim of it, or the minute you have had a situation involving that, that's when you need to do your reevaluation and move on. Like I said, I'm definitely going to have this deep discussion about why some of the things in the family court system should change. Because again, it's unfair that if this is supposed to be a system that's helping families, how is it only one portion of the family is getting help and the other portion ain't getting nothing? But we'll definitely have that discussion. Tonight I just wanted to come through. Definitely wanted to share this message because again, these are the type of talks that, even though they can be triggering for some, these conversations are important nonetheless. And I would tell anybody that if there's any time you feel triggered, or if any time I do bring up something that could be a trigger warning, just know that we're having this conversation overall for the general purpose of making better decisions, but also proper healing. But again, that's something that should be looked at. Again, learn a lesson from not just the lady I was talking about earlier, but learn these lessons, period. You can't lie, especially to a system, and think that it's always going to be in your favor because it can be a situation where it backfires.
And in her situation, you try to be abusive, you try to destroy somebody's property, you try to do something that you know for a fact could have possibly backfired on you. Even your mother said the same thing. Why would you go over there? Or why would you initiate anything like that? Ladies, start listening to the right type of advice. Fellas, same thing. When there's visible warnings and red flags, walk away. Your safety and your life preservation is more important than your pleasures. Period. And before I do get up out of here though, I know a lot of y'all still celebrating birthdays. Um, I know it's still Capricorn season. Um, for those celebrating birthdays, for those who celebrated birthdays this past week, um, again another year, another blessing around the sun. May you enjoy every moment of your day. You know, keep creating memories, and again, enjoy every moment. Healing prayers to those who might need it, especially those who might have lost people recently. Um, and if again, if you was able and you was blessed to see another year, again, give your praises where it's due. But again, for those celebrating birthdays, we not forget about you. We did not forget about you. Yeah. But tonight was definitely a good conversation. Definitely one that was needed. Um, like I said, I'll be back with the conversation tomorrow, definitely. But let me get up out of here. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yeah, we still gonna keep having these conversations because these conversations are needed. These conversations are gonna be not just a blueprint, but mostly guidance to those who need it. And again, it's important to keep spreading this awareness because we have people in the younger generations who some of them are not as wise or as privy to certain things like we are. But what service are we doing if we don't spread the message where it counts? And again, I'm gonna definitely have this conversation about the family court systems and all. It could be tomorrow, definitely. So be on the lookout for that. And again, for those who might have just been tuning in late, or for those who are just coming in, if you haven't subbed to the backup channel, please make sure you do. Serious, can you please do me a favor, baby, and just drop the link to the backup channel? Like I said, once I get once I get over the 50 subs, I'm gonna definitely start doing some live streams and some content over there as well. So yeah, definitely gonna keep having these convos until we can't have them no more, or at least until we start seeing the change that's needed. Appreciate again everybody who's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yeah, we definitely gonna definitely pick back up tomorrow. It could be an afternoon session, it could be another evening session, but I'll set the reminder so And apologies if I was going in and out at one point. Apparently I messed up something in the settings, but I fixed it. I fixed it. But not gonna hold y'all all night. Um, it's time for me to be an adult. It's time for me to get back to the plantation. But I feel again this conversation was definitely necessary. And for those who again might just be tuning in late, y'all can definitely catch the replay. And definitely make sure you share the message out. Again, young men and women out there, and even some of you older men and women out there, it is time to start reading the room better. It's definitely time for you to start being more critical in your thinking. And again, this is also a thing I'm gonna say. Again, if you're not going to be committed to a person, if you're not going to stick with them through thick and thin, if you're going to just up and jump ship, even when things are not at its worst, then don't bother. Stay single or do what you do until you are comfortable enough to be with somebody. Because remember this, once you get with somebody, once it's a relationship involved or even further than that, it's no longer just about you. You got to think about your partner as well. And that's where a lot of people get messed up at. They get into these scenarios and they still only thinking about themselves. Got to remember, when you with somebody, it's about both of y'all. It's never just about one. And anytime it's a one-sided scenario in a relationship, that's something you definitely need to walk away from. But we'll definitely continue that talk later, definitely. But just be real with yourself. And again, if you know you're not ready to settle down with somebody, then you need to let it be known. And you need to let that person know too. The biggest problem, like I see again, is there's no communication. No communication at all. You gotta start getting back to that. Start being open and honest about what you're looking for, what you need, and then you move forward from there. Never string nobody along, and don't waste their time. Because time is precious, but time is also valuable. Just remember that. Oh, and I didn't forget about y'all. I did not forget about y'all. Before we do get up out of here, hell no. Okay.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
But yeah, let me get my ass up out of here. Um, like I said, I will definitely be back tomorrow. Um, And the link will be pinned in case anybody want to chime in. Let me get myself up out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, I'll see y'all tomorrow. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. And for everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and they'll be reciprocated as such. I don't